Saturday in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and we're looking at the religion of Islam, which is followed by people that are called Muslims. That's a confusing issue, but that's the way it is. Muslims are people that follow Islam, and Muhammad was the final prophet of Islam. He lived from about 590 to 632. He's claimed to be the final prophet for Islam, and the Quran was written by scholars based on the statements of Muhammad, and the Bible is referred to 120 times in the Quran. Several references to Jesus, but certainly not the same kind of detail that the Bible gives of Jesus, and certainly not treated by the Quran or by Islam as a savior of the world and God in the flesh. There's no personal relationship with Allah between the people that are following Islam. They do not believe that there is a personal relationship that's there, but they do have 5 pillars of faith. Some consider 6. They have confession. Allah is one God. They have alms, 2.5% to the poor or to designated causes. They have prayer, 5 times, but very often consolidated into 3 times. They have a pilgrimage to Mecca, and a fasting, which is abstaining from food and water and sex for the daylight hours. Jihad can become the 6th pillar, if you will, which can be an internal spiritual battle with oneself, or it can be an external physical battle with the enemies of Islam. There's a final day of judgment, which they're all trying to prepare for in keeping these pillars of the faith, and they believe that the final day of judgment you will have your good works versus your bad works weighed, and salvation is to paradise, a wonderful place, but it's considered to be a spiritual and sensual pleasure place. Salvation is through works, not through grace, as the scriptures would tell us in the Bible. We also know that a martyr is given a guarantee of paradise. What about the role of a woman in the Muslim faith? Well, this is one of the most interesting things to me, because it seems that many of the converts in the United States that I see with the special attire that is appropriate for a Muslim woman, I wonder how they convert to Muslim when in fact the world recognizes the Muslim faith as one of the most oppressive to women in the area of education, employment, inheritance, dress, marriage, birth control, divorce, and even finding justice in the judicial system of the Muslim faith. And all I can say to that is you're going to have to ask some of these women. It's beyond me. However, I will tell you that from the research that I've been able to accomplish, that most Muslim women will at least say that they're satisfied with their life. They're satisfied that their dress code is to protect them. They're satisfied that their husbands will protect them. However, there are a number of things that I would think would bother most American women. First of all, that their husbands in the Muslim faith are allowed to have 4 wives. There's no age limit on the wives that can be taken. As a matter of fact, most of the written reports that you have on Muhammad's life indicate that he not only did not restrict himself to the 4 wives because he was the prophet. He had multiple wives. Some say 6, some say 9. But some of them were as young as 9 years of age. And so we certainly find a completely different set of standards and values for women. Is it changing? Well, it appears to be. In many places where the Muslim faith is practiced, there appear to be outcries from the Muslim women and being supported by some governments For example, in India, recently there was a major situation of a gang rape on a Muslim woman, and new laws were instituted in India to prevent such a thing from happening again, where in the past many Muslims would tell you that, especially Muslim women would tell you that any cries that they had for justice in the judicial system would fall on deaf ears. So it's quite apparent that if you were to look at all the different faiths of this world, you would find that the most oppressive to women would appear to be the Muslim faith of Islam, and that this is potentially changing in many places, and you would be very foolish to say that what occurs in one Muslim country in the practice of Islam would be the same that you would find in another country, because it seems to vary drastically. And more than likely, if you were able to get a Muslim woman in particular in the United States to speak without fear of reprisals, that you might find that even here in the United States, Muslim women find some prejudice or bias in behalf of men, and women are not esteemed in the same level. Again, you'd find that then in the role of the woman that, and again, not uniformly in all countries, just as there are many different kinds of Baptists, Presbyterians, Methodists, and Catholics, there appear to be many different kinds of Muslims practicing Islam and different levels of impact on women. But it appears in every report that I've seen that in the area of education, employment, inheritance, dress, marriage, birth control, divorce, justice, and the consenting age of marriage, that the women appear to be less free than they are in a democracy like America, where our religious beliefs are not enforced by our political judicial system. So I think that it's still difficult for me to understand why an American woman would want to convert to Islam and take on the Muslim lifestyle, when in fact in America the women have been fighting for years to try to get equality in the workplace, equality in society, equality in the political place. Why they would follow this particular faith of Islam. Again, what we need to do is we need to pray. We need to pray for the Muslims of all of the world, and for those that practice Islam where it's oppressive, that they would recognize that God created man and woman to be treated equally, and that we would practice that. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.